Another historical wonder that wasn't fully appreciated until quite recently is the Grand Canyon. What just emerged at the Grand Canyon shocks the whole world. Like many other contemporary cities, Chicago's hidden treasure consists of miles of underground passages that allow commuters to traverse the city regardless of the weather. Many cities, including Los Angeles, Boston, New York, and Dallas, have been found to contain elaborate networks of underground tunnels. It is claimed that the giants originally inhabited the city of the whole world, which was unearthed at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Is that anything you think is feasible? It is not a mystery why the Grand Canyon is frequently considered to be one of the most prominent sites in the entire planet. It is a visual representation of geological strata, with each layer standing for a distinct era in the history of the Earth. It is aptly known as the basement of history because to the historical artifacts that are stored there. This natural phenomena has continued to pique the interest of both scientists and vacationers looking for something unique to see. People who go hiking and other kinds of explorers frequently walk right by this site without giving it any notice, despite the fact that it has relics that date back thousands of years. However, what about the information about the past that has been kept from us? Is it possible that this is being kept a secret, not only to protect cultural monuments, but also because it will radically disrupt the manner in which we have been educated to perceive the past? Many will not believe what just emerged at the Grand Canyon shocks the whole world. The mystery deepens at this point in the story. As a result of this, an inquisitive Norwegian krill who was on holiday took pictures of the markings and emailed them to an old friend and former co-worker of his named Stephen Rowland, who lives in the United States of America. Rowland conjectured that the prints could be 313 million years old based on a krill discovery that turned out to be ancient fossilized footprints. This was based on the fact that the footprints were first thought to be krill. If Rowland's hypothesis is correct, then the fossil trace may represent the world's earliest trace of a footprint left by a vertebrate. A gigantic sandstone formation known as a Mana Catcher Formation has evolved over the course of the previous 314 million years. When ancient fossilized footprints got wet and were covered in sand, the sand helped to preserve the impressions that the fossilized footprints left behind for millions of years. These imprints were made by the ancient footprints that have since become petrified. In the course of their investigation, the researchers found that the surface of the rock featured not one but two separate sets of footprints. After some investigation, it was found that the markings dated back at least 330 million years before modern times. Rowland made a fascinating discovery when he probed deeper into the footprint study. The result was an intriguing clue. He found that two different kinds of reptiles had traversed the region in an unusual way, which crisscrossed the area. In addition to that, he mentioned that the scaly beast was only about a foot long and walked in a manner that was described as a lateral sequence. Animals who walk in this manner will place their left hind foot forward first, followed by their right rear foot, then their left hind foot, and lastly, their right front foot will be in front. It is still unknown whether the tracks were made twice by the same reptilian animal, but at different times, or whether they were made by two different animals. The reason for this is due to the fact that it was discovered that the second group of tracks to be reviewed were somewhat faster than the previous set. Before the discovery of lateral sequence gates in the form of remarkable angel trail footprints, researchers were under the impression that the evolution of vertebrates did not involve lateral sequence gates in any way. Now, picture the following. Rafting down the Colorado River, explorer G.E. Kincaid made the incredible discovery of a vast underground castle. He said that a tunnel measuring around 1,600 meters in length terminated at the entrance to the strange cavern. The inaccessibility of the tunnel under them surprised Kincaid. The entry was found around 450 meters below the canyon's sheer wall. Since the area was under government protection, access was limited. Because of its elevation above the river, the cave's entrance was completely concealed from view. The underground city's elaborate construction suggests its builders had a deep understanding of engineering. Walls of the city's central access chamber below ground were decorated with metal weaponry and tablets inscribed with Egyptian symbols and archaic inscriptions. The structure looked like a Huawei camera, with spokes radiating outward like a wheel's spokes. Isn't it a touch unnerving? Is it true that we're discussing mummies? That's just right. The finding of mummified bodies within the citadel was yet another astounding find. All of the mummies unearthed thus far have been shorter than 2.74 meters and were wrapped in black linen before being buried. Kincaid claimed he took a picture of one of them with a flashlight, but the photo was never located. Upon further investigation, it became clear that the city's illegitimate megalomaniacs held some peculiar beliefs. A large, cross-shaped plant, perhaps 30 or more meters from the room's entrance, stood alongside an idol that may have represented the supreme god in his religion. They found a white camera during their travels. Kincaid asserts that the image's discovery of stone tablets, urns, walls, and entrances all point to the presence of the mysterious hieroglyphics sought by the Smithsonian Institution. The sculpture on the tablet almost certainly had religious significance to the southern Arizona people. Identical or almost identical hieroglyphs have been discovered. There are just two animals depicted in the graphic novels, and neither of them are from the modern era. The mummies were located in a large crypt that sloped in the other direction and had walls that were tilted at an inclination of approximately 35 degrees. These structures are crammed to the gills with mummies, each of which has its own uniquely carved coffin. A small bench decorated with shards of swords and copper cups was placed in the center of each of these terrible graves. The urns and cups on the lower shelves are from an earlier period in human history and have a simpler design than the urns on the upper shelves, which have a more complicated pattern. It is significant to note that all of the studied mummies to yet have been male. No women or children have been found buried here. Thus, it's likely that the outer area was used as a barracks for the soldiers. Archaeologists have been thinking about the past population and culture of that city, but they have been unable to confirm or deny this narrative. It's worth noting, though, that the Hopi Indians believe their forefathers once lived in a netherworld beneath the Grand Canyon before being brutally exterminated. The Hopi Indians believed this to be true before their extinction. Chief Machado urged his people to escape the underworld, but when they tried, they found that they could go no further. Nearby, people were able to escape by climbing out. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so and turn on post notifications to be notified once we post a new video. Along the Colorado River, which is also known as the Red River, grain and maize were farmed, and a message was conveyed to the Temple of the Sun begging for harmony and togetherness among individuals who share a common tie. However, by this evening, the elders of the Hobby Villages tribe had begun cultivating ground along the Colorado part of the Red River. Unfortunately, the messenger never came back. Along the banks of the Red River is where you'll find the state of Colorado. One school of thought maintains that they originated in Asia, while another contends that people in the region around the Upper Nile were the original inhabitants of the region. A member of this group of Egyptologists is of the opinion that the Egyptians originated in India. The items that were discovered at Grand Canyon have the potential to provide light on hitherto unknown aspects of prehistoric life and the development of the human race. On the other hand, the article does not provide enough specifics, which makes it difficult to draw any conclusions from it. We have all seen and experienced what it's like on Black Friday, the day when people rush about and do anything they can to obtain a good deal because they believe they have a chance to win a large sum of money. This may be a suitable comparison for the treasure hunting mindset, in which individuals are willing to do anything to achieve a good price because they believe they have a chance at striking it rich. In this attitude, people will do anything to get a decent price. We have high hopes that the story is accurate, and if it is, the archaeologists have an obligation to unearth additional evidence and indicators that support it, so that each of us can come to our own conclusions about what happened. Scientists just discovered a new force. Click on the next video to find out what it is.